Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's episode 130 of Screw the Commute podcast. It's Tom Antion here and ready to rock and roll. Today's episode will be about voice search. See, the world is changing, and now's the time for you to start paying attention to the way people are searching for things online. If you want to be found, pay attention to this Monday training. Now, for those of you new listeners, every Monday, I do a session on something that has either saved me or made me lots of money. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I interview other great entrepreneurs. Now, in this episode, I can't say I've made a lot of money because of voice search. I am saying you and I both need to pay attention to this now if we want to make lots of money in the future. And last episode 129, Cindy Bishop was here. She's the one who makes sure your real estate agent knows what they're doing. And I'll tell you what, she is high integrity in a business that's not known for high integrity. And I've got a big freebie to thank you for listening to this podcast. It's my $27 ebook, How to Automate Your Business. Just one of the tips in this book has saved me over 7 million keystrokes. And I just might have another little thing over there for you. If you go to screwthecommute.com/automate free, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And like always, all the things we talk about will be in the show notes. Now, our podcast app is in the iTunes store. You can also go to screwthecommute.com/app, APP, where we have complete instructions to show you how to use all the fancy features so you can take us with you on the road. Plus, one favor I want to ask you. Please tell someone, just one person, that you know is interested in business about the podcast and get them to subscribe. And I guarantee they'll thank you for it. Now, our podcast this week, hey, it's me again, and the Tom Antion Internet Marketing Retreat and Joint Venture Program, where myself and my staff work with you for a year to either get you started in an internet business or to use the internet to take your existing business to the next level. I'll tell you more about that later. The details will be at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. And that'll be in the show notes at screwthecommute.com, of course, like all of the other things. And this is episode 130. And anytime you want to find an episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then put the episode number. Now, one more thing I want to say about the program is I kind of turned the internet marketing training world on its head around the year 2000. People like me were charging $50,000 to $100,000 up front to teach what we knew to clueless business people who refused to learn it on their own. Well, I'm a small business advocate, and I knew many small businesses could never afford that kind of upfront money. So I made all those gurus mad by charging a relatively small entry fee to my program that also got a percentage of profits that was capped, so you're not stuck with me forever. So for me to get my big money, you have to make way bigger money. And plus, I'm not going to disappear on you because I won't get my money. All right. So, and then I went one step further. That's never been done before. I have a big estate home and a TV studio where my students, as part of their year-long training, come and actually stay in my house for an immersion weekend. That's just one of the unique features of the program. So you can check out the full details at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. And of course, that'll be in the show notes. All right, let's get to the main event, voice search. All right, this episode is to open your eyes to something that's going on all around you, and most likely you are participating in it in some fashion. And that's voice search. Anyone that's been around me for a while knows that I've stated on probably 1,000 or more occasions, literally, both publicly and on my numerous one-on-one mentoring sessions, that the number one mistake people make with their online business is poor or zero keyword research and keyword usage. I mean, heck, the first episode of this podcast is devoted to the topic of keyword research. I highly suggest you go back and listen to that. Now, the past couple years have seen what I think is the biggest change in keyword research and usage since the internet started. In the entire past of the internet, searches were done on a keyboard with short, choppy words or phrases. The only exception being the short-lived Ask Jeeves search engine of a long time ago. Now, voice search, where people are saying keywords and keyword phrases, is taking off exponentially. And this episode is designed to get you in the mindset that if you start paying attention to this now, you can be way ahead of your competitors and grab some market share that you may have missed without emphasis on voice search. And I'm talking some serious revenue here. I mean, the revenue generated by voice search is expected to increase, listen to this, by a factor of 20 in the next 2 years. All right, so getting your act together now can put you way ahead of the game. And check this out. Forbes magazine reported on a study by ComScore that by the year 2020, 30% of all website sessions will be conducted without a screen at all. And half of all web searches will be done by voice. That's crazy, huh? All right, so what is voice search? Well, very simply, that's where you talk into a device and it returns the results orally. And the device could be in your hand, on your wrist, the dashboard of your car, or a device sitting on your counter at home. The big players are Apple Siri, Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and to a lesser extent, Microsoft Cortana. I'm not sure which it is. It should be pretty obvious why voice search is going crazy. I mean, people can type about 30 to 40 words per minute, and that's on a regular keyboard. Small keyboards make most people go way slower, and with fat fingers like mine, it can be brutal trying to type something on a cell phone. Plus, it's more of the old hunt and peck method instead of old school banging away on a keyboard like our fingers have been conditioned to for many years. So it's lucky if I can bang out 10 words a minute. On the other mouth, I was going to say on the other hand, all right. But on the other mouth, most people can speak about 150 words a minute. And I know plenty of motor mouths that speak 200 words a minute with gusts up to 300 words a minute. So if your voice, with your voice, it's easier to make way more specific search requests with way less effort. And hey, it's safer too. I mean, lots of voice searches currently have to do with getting directions while you're driving. All right, when I say the searches are more specific, you can just think to your typical Google search when you're typing on a keyboard on a desktop or laptop. The typed searches are usually short and snappy. Spoken searches may be entire sentences, and they certainly lean toward what is called the long tail, with many words in the search query. For instance, if someone was interested in buying a family protection dog, which, by the way, we sell at protectiondogselite.com, I snuck that in subliminally. I don't even think I pronounced that right. They might simply type into Google protection dogs or guard dogs or protection canines or maybe at most family protection dogs. But with voice search, people tend to give more detail in hopes of getting more specific results. So they might say, how do I buy a family protection dog? Or tell me about family protection dogs. Or can a dog really protect my family? Or is a bike-trained canine safe around children? Or something like that. It's a long sentence. This brings up a good point about preparing your sites to be found when people are searching for things. It's not a bad idea to make answers on your site to the kinds of questions people would ask about your products and services when they're doing a voice search. I mean, this gives you a greater chance of being found. Basically, you're optimizing your site for more conversational keyword phrases. Now, one thing you can do is to put these answers and other things like heading tags, bullets, and things called a snippet near the top of your pages, and you can put the keyword phrase you're optimizing for there too. This makes it easy for the search engines to pick you because you made it easy for the searcher to find what they were looking for, and the search engines love this and rewards you with a higher ranking. Now, here's a sidebar. You might say, Tom, I just heard you in a recent episode. In fact, it was just last week. Talk about how you've abandoned search engine optimization in favor of paid traffic. What's up with that? Well, a closer listen to that episode, which was episode 127, if anybody's keeping score, all right? I said, even though I went to paid traffic years ago, I did not abandon basic search engine optimization techniques. I still place keywords properly, and I don't do stupid things that would get me banned. Also, keywords are still critical for paid traffic. YouTube videos, articles, blog postings, and all that stuff. I mean, this episode is just highlighting the differences in keywords and phrases because of voice search. And back to paid traffic, the answers to many of the voice searches that apply to me can be put in my ads to get more people to click through. So keywords are just as important now as ever. They're just different. All right, let's talk about reviews a little bit. Let me take you in a little different direction. If your business is the type of business that typically gets reviews, well, right now they seem to matter quite a bit with regard to voice search. Hero Digital did a voice search about looking for Thai restaurants, and all the results from Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant, I think Cortana's so small they eliminated it, brought up the 4 and 5 star restaurants first. What's really crazy is that they also used the search, I'm hungry. And most of the services returned restaurant results, except for one who brought up a song on YouTube called I'm Hungry. All right. Siri even came up with joke answers when the search query was, what should I eat? I mean, this is really crazy how sophisticated and smart these services are, and they're getting smarter all the time. However, none of these are perfect. Now, Siri's response to how do I change a tire gave an article about how many calories you burn while changing a tire, right? So I'm including in the show notes the very extensive article about voice search Hero Digital did, and with many examples in many different industries. So that link will be in the show notes. But here's their conclusions, and I'm quoting from their article. And some of these things I don't even understand. Generally, there's 3 bullets that they made for their conclusion. Generally, Siri will be more difficult to optimize for as there's no strong connection between its results and what appears in the search engine results pages. For localized searches, Siri will give you listings that are closest to your specified location or your device. Now, for informational queries that don't produce a direct answer, Siri will give you top Google results, excluding the answer box. I don't know what that means exactly. Interestingly, Siri pulls web results from Google, but their image results come from Bing. That's kind of crazy. All right, so this is quoting from Hero Digital's conclusions. All right, another thing that they concluded, Alexa's results revolve around the location, pages, or products with the top ratings. Now, reputation management is key for optimizing for Alexa voice search. In other words, again, you got to have good reviews and a lot of good stuff out there about you. And the last bullet point from Hero Digital, Google Assistant offers the most similar results to the Google search engine results pages, especially with local searches. Structured markup and coded formatting are pertinent by winning the voice search result. And I talked about those in another episode about structured results, but those are things you want to get your geek to handle for you. All right, so here's some tips for you to do to start preparing for the coming tsunami of voice searches. Well, just like I've been preaching for a couple years for your regular web pages, Google's Voice is going to give a boost to websites that load quickly. And your site must be optimized for mobile. Your images need to be optimized for fast loading. Plus, you need to put your long tail keyword phrases in the alt tag in the title of your graphics. Make sure all your big files are compressed and that your website caching is going to improve your page speed. Make sure you don't have any bloated plugins that are keeping your site from loading fast. And I know you may not understand some of these things and what to do about them, but any geek worth anything will know or can figure it out easily. A really important thing is called a featured snippet. Again, ask your geek or IT person about these. One quick tip, like I mentioned above, is to put stuff at the top of the page, which is kind of like a concise summary of your page. And the current consensus is to keep it under 29 words. But, of course, that can change. And speaking about the number of words, even though your pages must load quickly, both desktop and mobile searches still favor deep content, with current estimates being that pages with from 1,850 to 2,500 words in general rank the highest. And there's another thing you should think about, and that's mobile first indexing. Google came out and said a couple years ago that they're going to rank your site based on the mobile version of it rather than the desktop. So you better put heavy emphasis on the quality of the mobile version of your site. So to wrap up this quick episode, and even though it's quick, it doesn't mean it's not super important. I mean, you heard me say earlier, the money generated from voice search is going up by a factor of 20 in the next 2 years, right? You heard me say that. You need to pay attention to this right now. You need to jot down all the questions your customers and prospects ask you and use them strategically in all your online marketing. And some of this you'll just have to pursue on a leap of faith because the keyword tools to help you really haven't caught up to give you figures to work with. So you know where to spend your valuable time. I mean, many of the phrases that could make you a fortune are too long or too low of a volume to register in the current keyword search tools that we have available. So you'll be flying blind for a while until these tools start to catch up. But by paying attention to the questions your prospects and customers ask you, you won't really be flying totally blind. And doing it now will help you blow past your competitors who weren't smart enough to subscribe to this podcast. You are subscribed, right? If not, get your butt over to screwthecommute.com, and we got tons of places where you can subscribe. All right, so check out my mentor program. Hey, it's the longest running, most successful, most unique. And one thing I didn't tell you earlier, it also includes a scholarship to my licensed internet marketing school that you can either use the scholarship yourself or gift to someone else. So check out everything in the show notes and get busy on your voice search and paying attention to those keywords. It's really going to help you out. Hey, and don't forget to get your free automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free, where I also have another surprise gift there for you that has to do with podcasts. All right, we'll catch y'all on the next episode.